Welcome to What in the Smut podcast,
where the books are horny and so are we. I'm Elle and I write fantasy smut.
and I'm Kay and I write contemporary smut.
And this week in the Smutverse, the author whose latest release featured a 32-year-old male character being sexually attracted to a 3-year-old is facing the music. Lauren Tesselin Mastrosa, who wrote Daddy's Little Toy under the pen name Tori Woods, was arrested in her home country of Australia on charges of possessing, disseminating, and producing child abuse material. This latest sparked a fierce debate about where the line is between real life and fiction. At least one author quit social media amidst backlash for questioning whether Tesselin Mastrosa deserved jail time. Others pointed to works like Lolita that also portray problematic sexualization of children. But pinnacles of the dark romance community drew a line in the sand. Those stories aren't romance, including sexual attraction to a child and condoning it by having the relationship come to fruition betrays the genre. Meta continues its upsettingly accurate cosplay as the evil corporation from a dystopian sci-fi movie, as The Atlantic reported that Meta used LibGen, a database of pirated books, to train its AI. The Atlantic posted a link to search the database, and many authors were dismayed to discover their life's work had been uploaded to the internet and fed into yet another tool to bastardize and monetize their creativity without their consent. Whispers of a class action lawsuit are growing stronger, and once again, if you pirate books, you are part of the problem. You are complicit. Stop doing it.
This whole thing with AI is scary. In some ways, AI can be such a helpful tool, but in some ways it can be used for evil. And it's wild what is happening in the world right now. Every day it's something new, and every day I'm like, let me read a book about a dinosaur.
Speaking of, let's talk about a book that I paid $2.99 of my hard-earned cash for, and I would do it again, I guess. Okay?
I don't know that I would do it again, but today we are going to discuss Gay T-Rex Law Firm, Executive Boner by Chuck Tingle. The summary says, when Donnie lands a job at Jurassic Law, the world's leading T-Rex law firm, he's absolutely thrilled. More than qualified to work there, the dinosaurs immediately promote him to be the first human partner. Donnie's predecessor left a plethora of loose ends, and he won't be able to enjoy this new position until things are sorted out. Fortunately, that won't stop his new T-Rex coworkers from planning a welcome party. Soon enough, Donnie has found himself at the center of a gay T-Rex gangbang that gives new meaning to the term dinosaur bones.
I don't think it should give new meaning to the term. I think that the old one was just fine. We didn't need to go redefining these words.
And it's funny because they never say dinosaur bone.
You're right.
He doesn't ever use that as
what a missed opportunity.
Yeah. So we have rated this solidly at a level 5 icky sticky tangle of tentacles, or icky sticky tangle of dinosaur bones, if you will.
Yeah, there is no question about the smut level of this one.
Did you read the trigger warnings before you...
Nope! So, imagine, if you will, dear listeners, as I continue to punish myself by not reading the content warnings before starting these books. Imagine the jump scare of these trigger warnings. Gay dinosaur action, including anal, blowjobs, rough sex, double penetration, gangbangs, and T-Rex lawyer love. 1, why is that a trigger warning? 2, I don't think there was any love involved.
No. This was not... I mean, they loved what they were doing, I guess. That was made clear. But no actual romantic love.
Yeah, I would not call this romance. We are firmly in the erotica corner of the world right now. And boy, is it an experience.
I was going to say eye-opening. So an Amazon 3-star review says, yep, okay, hear me out. Yes, Chuck Tingle writes some weird as fuck stories, but when I'm in need of a good laugh that will boost my spirits, his books do it. Even with multiple T-Rex eggplants. So yeah, again, it is what it said it was. A new guy at a law firm makes the first human partner, and for his welcome to the firm party, he chose to get to know his new colleagues intimately. The rest, just imagine or read it. Read it, do it, you know you're curious. After you listen to our conversation, you can make that decision whether or not you want to read it and spend your hard-earned $2.99 on Amazon to experience the words on the page.
Oh my God. There's a 3-star review on Goodreads. Never thought I would ever read the phrase, fuck the hell out of my tight ass with those big T-Rex cocks. But here we are.
Yeah.
I think that about sums it up. Episode over.
Well, let's get into it.
In my tradition of being too invested in the plot, I had many concerns about the hiring process of this
So did I.
Once again, I think we started off kind of strong because I do really enjoy the fact that we were dropped right into this job interview with our main character, and he is sitting across the desk from a T-Rex.
Yep.
There is no preamble. There is no explanation. There is no attempt to explain why there is a dinosaur law firm or why dinosaurs are members of society.
Is it all dinosaurs? Is it just T-Rexes? I have a lot of questions.
Good points. Yeah. I had that thought later on during the gangbang, which, yes, that's a sentence that I didn't think I would ever have to say out loud. But I was wondering if only T-Rexes make partner in the law firm because it was very specific that there were only T-Rex cocks involved.
Yes.
And so I was curious if there was dinosaur hierarchy involved in this world that we've created.
I mean, I would venture to think that their dinosaur hierarchy would make its way into the real world should they still be here. But also, is T-Rex king of humans as well? Because the T-Rex is really the king of the dinosaurs, right?
Yeah. It was one of the questions during the interview with, have you ever worked for a dinosaur before? And Donnie gives the confusing answer, no, but I'm really excited by the opportunity, which I don't know, that doesn't feel appropriate for, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm trying to find like a real world corollary. Like, have you ever had a female boss before? I guess that's okay to say like, no, I've never reported to insert minority group here, and I'm really excited by the opportunity. That seems okay, I guess.
That is a lovely way to look at it.
Given that we learn that he is very attracted to dinosaurs, it maybe is a little bit less appropriate.
Also, like, there's really never any indication that he has a thing for dinosaurs in this moment.
True.
So the interviewer, who we never get a name for him, and he's seemingly not the boss.
No, that's a new person that he meets on the elevator.
Yeah. So the interviewer asks him why he left his last job, which was in a small town. He moved to New York City. Obviously, the best dinosaur law firm in the country would be in New York City.
Of course.
I don't know why anyone would think otherwise. And he's applying for a secretarial position, despite the fact that he has a law degree.
Yes. And this was where I started to have questions about the hiring process, given that they ask no further questions. They do not bother to confirm if he's even passed the bar, because you can have a law degree and not be a lawyer.
That's true. Vinny from Jersey Shore has a law degree, doesn't he? He went to law school. I think he's...
And definitely not a lawyer. Also
a missed opportunity for my fan cast.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I'm sure you still did a phenomenal job. I look forward to finding out. But yes, so because he has a law degree, they decide that he's overqualified to be a secretary. And instead, they hire him on the spot after doing no further research and asking no further questions, not as an associate, not as a senior associate, but as a full and equal partner in the law firm.
Yeah.
not how any of this works.
So he says that he was a secretary at his last law firm also. So he wasn't even a practicing lawyer in his small town.
Yes.
I do have in here a quote that says, the T-Rex nods slightly, his eyes still scanning over my resume. He's incredibly hard to read, sharp and focused. His lips form a tight line across his expressionless dinosaur face. I had a lot of questions about just even this little paragraph here. First,
Same.
T-Rexes have eyes on the sides of their head, so he would be having a very hard time reading. Scanning. Is he using one eye? Are we just...
And also, they have short little arms.
Yes.
So he couldn't even hold it in front of his...
He's got to be looking off to the side. So that had me suspending my belief in this situation. Also, dinosaurs have lips. I did not.
I don't think so.
So that I had questions. So I also say that there's a big jump from being overqualified for a secretarial position to being very underqualified, because it does not sound like he has yet to use his law degree, and now he's a partner.
Yes.
The only human partner in this dino law firm.
Not only the only human partner, the first ever human partner at Jurassic Law, apparently.
Yeah. So this was after he chatted with someone. He went somewhere, had a conversation, came back and was like, you're just what we're looking for. We want to offer you this job. And then it immediately goes to, you'll start tomorrow morning. This is faster than you would start a job at a restaurant.
Yes, correct. This is so funny to me, because then once we get into what the job actually looks like, you know what I kept having in my head until things took a turn for the extremely salacious was, have you ever seen the Lego Movie?
Uh-huh.
And Princess Kitty Unicorn, or whatever her name is, she's bouncing around and she's going, business, 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 business.
La, 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 la.
La, la, business, business, business. Is this working? Yeah. That was exactly what this was, because it was interview. You're so overqualified. We're going to give you a job that you are not supposed to be able to get at a law firm without having worked there for several years. And then once he gets to the job, his predecessor left many loose ends. It's just papers to be organized.
Papers that he needs to file. Yeah. And also, do you think that there's other dinosaurs in the firm that were waiting to be promoted to partner?
And got passed up by a human? Yes.
And are going to want to eat him. It's a cutthroat business to become from associate to a partner. Yeah. Or maybe just all of the T-Rexes are automatically partners.
I also wasn't clear on the distinction between the partners and the senior partners and the board, which was a different separate group.
I think we can venture to say that Chuck Tingle probably does not have much understanding about law firms.
I don't know why you would come to that conclusion and besmirch Mr. Tingle's name in such a manner. Clearly, he has many years of experience organizing papers that wait to be filed and waiting the delivery of more and more office couriers spelled wrong throughout the day.
So he gets his job. We don't even really hear him say that he's accepted the job. There's no discussion of salary.
No.
Or benefits.
No.
Which in New York City, I would imagine is you need to know what your salary is going to be in order to know whether you can survive in the city.
This is correct.
So we jump to the next day and he's arriving. Had we found out? Yes, that his name is Donnie.
We find out in this chapter that his name is Donnie.
Yeah. Oh, no. There's no chapters. This is all one
yes,
long...
You're right. There was a line break. After which we found out his name was Donnie. Despite the fact that the Kindle edition says 46 pages, and we'll get to that, the entirety of this story is, I think, 15 pages.
Yes, and there's a lot packed into those 15
So
pages.
much packed in, not a single chapter heading to be had. We are 0 to 1,000.
So he's at the building, wherever this law firm is in New York, and he's getting into the elevator and he says, I look good and I know it. a young, fresh-faced guy in the big city. But today, I'll need a little more help than that. A human has never been a partner at Jurassic Law. And I said, that's because Tyrannosaurus Rex wants to eat humans. You lose a case and they're going to eat you.
Maybe there have been human partners. It's
Maybe.
Just that there's no evidence of them left.
That's true, because they were a snack. And he is...
And not in the sexual way.
He is a snack. And he is... He's letting us know.
And he knows it.
So he's about to go up the elevator when a T-Rex in a gray suit picks up the pace and slips inside. He introduces himself as Tyson Rex. And I have questions, which it's probably the same one. Do all of the dinosaurs have a name that starts with T? Do they all have a T name with the last name Rex? Or is it a family office? Like, family owned
that
business?
makes the boardroom scene so much more concerning if that's the case.
That's a good point. He extends his clawed dino hand. How far is he extending it? Because they don't have very, like, is he leaning in? Is he, like, kind of almost leaning in for a kiss at the same time?
Also, another thing that I wondered, it's not that deep, but I'm going to keep digging.
Always.
How tall are T-Rexes?
That's a good point. Because there's conflicting evidence. So now they're saying, like, the T-Rex might have been the size of, like, an ostrich or something. Like, not...
Still pretty tall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just...
But, I mean, if you think back to, like, Jurassic Park, the T-Rex was
very, very
yeah,
tall.
so, like, an ostrich would be, like, a average 6-foot romantic male character, 6'5" or something, you know.
Okay, Google says about 15 to 20 feet tall.
Okay.
So twice the height, I would say, of a normal romance hero. So that was the thing that I was thinking about as Donnie was getting into the elevator. Is this a custom designed and architected building? Did the T-Rex have to retrofit it so that they could fit in the elevators?
However, they're not really a new addition to the world, it seems.
Clearly.
So perhaps
This is an alternate timeline where we're coexisting with dinosaurs, so all buildings are big enough for T-Rex to travel up the elevators, perhaps?
Or perhaps they have shrunk down in size a bit.
Oh, sure. Evolution might have...
might have made them a little smaller.
Well, that actually kind of makes sense because in the prehistoric...
No, go. I want to hear whatever is going on in that pretty little head of yours. I want to know what it is right now.
Just gonna say, I remember reading somewhere, and I don't want to get absolutely destroyed if I'm misremembering, but there was a lot more oxygen in the earlier days of the Earth. I remember reading somewhere that, like, insects especially were so much more massive because of the high concentration of oxygen or something to that effect.
Okay.
So it's possible that as the atmosphere kind of normalized out to be a lower percentage of oxygen, that T-Rexes would also get smaller over time.
Should that meteor never have hit the Earth? I mean,
yeah.
It's
not that deep, but we're gonna keep digging.
It's a solid reasoning. And
I wouldn't call any reasoning about this story solid.
Less intelligent people have had much more conviction on their theories, so let's go with it, Elle.
I appreciate that thought. So Donnie meets Tyson and is walking through the office with him. Tyson says he'll show him to his desk, and he's getting weird looks that could only be described as awkward, which I couldn't discern. It seemed like the entire office was dinosaurs.
Yes.
But then, I couldn't tell if the mailboy was a dinosaur or not.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out the ratio, if there were any humans at all or just no human partners, or what the deal was.
See, I was less concerned with that and more concerned with the fact that they first said that they walked into a big room filled with desks.
And then they went down a corridor.
They went down a corridor. So, like, are we talking about a big room with cubicles, or are we talking about, like, a long hallway with offices? Because it kind of goes back and forth. But, yes, all of the dinosaurs were on the phone and giving him what he describes as awkward looks. I'm thinking that, again, they're not giving him awkward looks. They're giving him, like...
predatory looks?
Yeah! It would have made way more sense.
This is a good point. This helps fill in the world for me.
The way that we are filling it in.
Yeah, yes. Now I feel like I can truly enjoy the T-Rex gangbang that is about to occur. So he gets to his desk.
Which is at the end of the hallway. He got, like, prime real estate.
It had an amazing view. So he has, like, his own office.
Yeah.
And it's right next to Tyson's office. And Tyson says, oh, I'm a senior partner, and that's why I have this amazing office. And Donnie is like, sir, I'm so sorry. And Tyson kind of laughs and he goes, no, it mostly just means that I plan the parties because dinosaur lawyers love partying.
Because if they lose a case, they will just eat the defense. They don't need to worry about being good at their jobs because they can just eat them.
They win cases by default because judges are afraid.
Yeah. So they just party all the time.
Oh my gosh.
So he starts this new job with seemingly no actual experience.
None.
He's got a big old pile of papers to file on his desk. And they just, like, kind of drop him in his office. And they're like, okay, do work. Like, what?
No onboarding, no explanation.
No.
Just papers that need to be filed.
And more papers brought
Yes.
to him by the mail boy.
I will say I did my best to ignore the typos as they happened, but there were quite a few, especially in the very beginning. The dialogue formatting isn't right, and so they kept putting periods where commas should be, and it made it feel much more staccato than it actually was. This is something that I know that I am uniquely bothered by, so I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but there were several moments where I had to be like, wait, that word just doesn't make any sense.
I did read a review that had said something about, like, how he should at least have another set of eyes edit before he publishes. I'm assuming that this is kind of a
one-man train.
Yeah, pops in his head, he writes it down, he publishes it, and people continue to give their $3 to him. And you know what? Get it. Get it.
Get that bag, Chuck. We love and support you, even if you make us extraordinarily uncomfortable.
So he has lots and lots of work to do. So naturally, he falls asleep at his desk on his first day.
Oh my gosh. I could not believe. No, this is the most unprofessional man I have ever seen in fiction. And frankly, I've read billionaire romances where he gets with his secretary, you know? So he realizes that everyone else has gone home, quote, finished with the day's organizational duties. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What does this law firm do if all of them are just filing papers all day? Fine. The mailboy drops another stack of papers on his desk and he snaps at the mailboy. Are you fucking kidding me? Which is so rude in your first day.
However, he's a little cranky because he just woke up from a nap.
No. This was before he fell asleep.
Okay.
This was before... No grace given to Donnie Boy here. And this is your first day on the job. You are not allowed to be stressed yet, especially given that you were desperate for a new job. You were excited about this opportunity. Like, this is not how the real world works. Like, you don't get to be burnt out on day one.
This is not what happens when you go to work for a T-Rex law firm, okay?
It's so unrealistic. The T-Rexes will eat you. He falls asleep on his desk, and I said, bruh, you are so fired.
However, his boss walks in and says they're going to have a welcome party for him. So apparently everybody has not left for the day.
Right. It was this didn't make any sense.
A little unclear whether or not the welcome party happened in that same night, but it seems to.
It definitely did.
He wakes up and nobody's around, but
Yeah.
then apparently they're all like waiting in this boardroom.
Tyson's the one who comes and wakes him up. He tells him, don't worry, we're going to get you a secretary. So it would have been your job to handle all of this paperwork if we had hired you as a secretary. Then we made you do it anyway, and now we're going to hire the person that was going to be you to actually handle all of this. So I don't know what the hell he's going to do once they get him as secretary.
Well, neither does he, because he's never been a lawyer before.
So Tyson tells him he's got plenty scheduled this week to help Donnie relax, including a big welcoming party. And for no apparent reason, Donnie is pissed off by this.
Yeah, I said that it's because he knows he doesn't deserve this party. He fell asleep on the job on his first day. He's wildly underqualified, which men, but...
And this is the only realistic part of this story, actually.
A mediocre white man got a job he wasn't qualified for.
Say less.
So he says there's so much work to do. Well, yeah, because you could have gotten some of it done, but you took a nap.
Tyson tells them they're planning a big welcoming party for him, and he goes, isn't that a little irresponsible? And then Tyson replies with what is a complete non sequitur. Well, we are carnivores.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
How is that related to being irresponsible? What?
If we don't party, we're going to eat people.
Is that the connection that we're making?
Maybe.
I don't know. Are carnivores inherently irresponsible? I don't know. There's so many questions that are not answered. And frankly, I'm not sure I need them to be. I think I can just go the rest of my life not knowing.
So Tyson asks him what kind of party he wants. Like, apparently dinosaurs are all about a theme party.
And we love that for them, frankly. I'm okay with that. I'm a fan of a themed party.
Yeah, I love a theme. It tells me what I need to wear. So absolutely.
Give me some constraints. What I don't understand, though, is why a senior partner in a law firm would be carrying around in his briefcase a list of every themed party to have ever been held for every partner that was welcomed to the firm ever.
Yep.
Going back to the 70s,
yes,
apparently.
Because he gives him this list, and on that list are murder mystery, rave, pool party, afternoon barbecue, scary story campfire, potluck picnic, and gangbang. And that is where Donnie stops reading and is like, I think that this means something different. And Tyson says, oh no, it means the same thing. The 70s were a trip, but nobody's picked that in decades.
I also I want to know what was after gangbang on the list.
Yeah.
If that was in the middle somewhere.
Or if that is the exhaustive list of...
Right. If that's the exhaustive list.
Murder mystery, gangbang, scary stories around a campfire.
If he'd picked afternoon barbecue, would they have sent everybody home? Like,
right, because it's gotten dark. So like, okay, well, we're going to have to do that on a different day. But you're going to pick the gangbang so we can do that right now.
Indeed.
He says, my arousal has reached a fever pitch, unable to remain cool and collected any longer. I know what I want. All right, cool. Like,
sure. Well, so, sorry, but I just wanted to comment one thing before he gets to the list. Tyson is like, what do you want? And Donnie's like, right now? And Tyson's like, from this party. And Donnie says, I'd rather just file these papers. And Tyson is like, oh, it's always work with you humans, isn't it? Tell me something other than work. And that's when Donnie says, well, what has everyone else done, for their welcome party? But what caught my attention, and what then I had to go look up because I was very confused, was he blurts out, what has everyone else done? My words coming out awkward and tabled.
Huh. And what does that mean exactly?
It doesn't mean anything. You cannot use tabled in that way. I could not find anything. I couldn't think of a typo that would make that make any sense. I don't understand.
What?
Awkward?
Yeah.
Fine. Tabled? What do you mean?
Like tabling the conversation
Right.
for later.
Literally, I was like, does that mean something that
My
don't
brain was
know?
already trying to figure out far too many other things that I did not
Fair.
even, I skipped right over that.
No, that's totally fair. We know that I am way too fixated on very small details that don't matter when we have bigger fish to fry, which is, I mean, what are the logistics of having so many dinosaurs passing around a single human? I mean, let's get into it, truly.
So before they get to that point, Tyson says they're going to make sure everybody else is comfortable with this, which,
Right.
we love the consent.
Yes.
So Donnie starts to second guess because he's like, it's my first day. Is this some kind of test that I've not passed by choosing gangbang on my first day?
Literally just have Tyson's like, all right, chill. Let me just check with the rest of the board and make sure everyone's down to fuck. Like,
So he starts to second guess himself. He asks him what happens if he changes his mind. And Tyson says, this is your celebration, so you're the one in charge. You can change your mind for any reason at any time. And if you'd rather just skip the party, that's all good.
I have that noted down as well. We love a consent king.
Yes. So apparently all of the other dinos are like on board immediately for this gangbang. They're like, yes, we've been waiting decades for this. Bring it.
My notes slowly start to lose any coherence. I thought everyone had gone home already, but apparently Tyson is conferring with the board right this second. Are we going to start the gangbang right now? Oh my fucking God, we are. So Tyson comes back and is like, yes, everyone is down to fuck you, in fact. And he walks into the boardroom with Tyson, which has this big, long table and a roaring fire in the fireplace, which...
roaring dinosaurs.
Unintentional.
And there's gonna be some roaring in a bit.
Oh, there's gonna be so much roaring. There's gonna be so much shouting. It's anyway. And so... he walks into the room with Tyson, and Tyson's like, what do you think? And Donnie is like, oh, he's checking to make sure I want to fuck all of these dinosaurs. Totally reasonable conclusion, which is apparently exactly what Tyson was asking, because Donnie's like, those two dinos ain't it for me.
Yeah, he says that there's two that I'm not super into.
What?
I didn't realize that one T-Rex could be more or less attractive than another.
Me neither. I guess that's on us, frankly. We are dinosaur racist because we think all dinosaurs look the same.
That's a good point. I need to reflect. So Tyson says, hey, Rimbler and Croons, we'll catch you after the party for drinks, okay?
Which they don't, by the way.
Yeah, there's no drinks after. Everyone was really tired. I said, could you imagine being called out and essentially being told to leave the gangbang because he's not into it? Like, what? I mean, I guess maybe that's a thing. Maybe I would say well-versed, but not versed at all in a gangbang. So, I mean, maybe that's...
in the social, construct.
Yeah, in what's okay and what's not. And then Donnie thinks to himself, guess I'm fucking these dinosaurs tonight.
We have no chapters, no breaks, no backstory. We are full throttle going in. And here's the thing. I don't think we ever got a number.
Of how many dinosaurs there were.
Yes.
Yeah, the only one whose name we got was Tyson.
But then he himself was not referenced by name in the course of the gangbang.
That's true. You would think that if it's the only name we know, that he would mention something about Tyson's dinosaur rod, is what he referred to them as frequently.
Yes, and there was later a specific extra large dinosaur rod, we'll say, that was the largest of the ones that he had seen by far.
At one point, he did say, my dinosaur love, or something like that. So maybe he, thought that he and Tyson were a thing.
Were a thing? That feels a little bit.
Of a stretch.
Of a stretch. Of a stretch.
So he says that he strips down to the bare essentials. And what exactly are the bare essentials for a gangbang?
Great question.
I don't know. But he climbs onto the long, narrow table, making my way across it on hands and knees.
This was where it seemed to me like he did have experience. Unlike the job that he was hired to do, he did seem to know exactly what was expected of him in this particular scenario.
That's a very good point.
Also, I did find myself rereading because I caught myself being like, wait, what are the logistics of this? What just happened? And that was before I, surrendered myself to this. But when he walks into the room, all of the T-Rex partners or board members or whatever are dressed to the nines.
Yes, wearing suits. I have that note also.
And then by the time he's crawled across the table, he is surrounded by T-Rex cocks.
Yeah,
green,
throbbing T-Rex dicks pointing out at me from every direction. And they were all in suits when they first walked in. When did they get naked? Or did they just unzip their suit pants?
I was trying to figure out if he'd walked into the room and they were already naked and I had somehow missed that.
No, it did say that they were all in suits.
That's what I thought. So yes, it really threw me out of the story because we got so much detail of him undressing himself in front of everyone and then no description of
maybe
how
when
the T-Rex
he started to undress, the rest of them were like, okay, we're going to do this now. So they all took their suits off as well.
I guess.
It does say they gather at the edges of the table large enough that they tower above me while I crawl. So again, we're still trying to figure out
how big are T-Rexes?
How big are T-Rexes?
How big are their dicks?
How big is this table?
Yeah.
How tall is the table? There's a lot of questions. So he just gets things started. He grabs the first two dinosaur dicks that are in front of him and he starts stroking.
Oh my God.
You haven't met any of your new colleagues yet.
No.
And this is how you're meeting them. And he says, you like what a nasty new partner at Jurassic Law I am? And I said, what the actual fuck? I would not show up for work the next day. Can you believe what a nasty new partner you have? What? No.
Immediately followed by the dinosaurs huff and puff in approval.
So then the dinosaurs start to switch places,
taking turns between his fingers until one of them has had enough and grabs Donnie's head and pushes his mouth down around the T-Rex's gigantic rod.
Yeah. And he uses the word rod a couple times in here.
I did wonder if we were going to end up in a discussion about words used for cock after we've spent several episodes talking about words used for pussy. And obviously there aren't any of those in this story.
But you know what, though? He didn't really use too many. He said rod, cock, dick, and that's really it. Also, though, I question if it is a difference in female author versus male author.
Yeah.
In terms of the language used, or I guess maybe also who their intended audience is.
Yeah.
That's something to consider as we move forward. So I have... Eventually, I find my face pressed against his green-toned abs, lapping at his balls with my tongue like a puppy while I deep-throat his cock. The logistics of that do not seem possible.
No.
For a penis of any size.
Correct.
Never mind a dinosaur penis.
Yeah, I do take issue.
I do take issue. He would have to unhinge his jaw like a snake.
Yes, even if you just think of lapping like a puppy anyway, it would have to be a micro penis to be able to reach the balls and to be able to
and be flush with the abs. Yeah, there's no way.
And your tongue is you have to get your tongue out of the. I don't want to get too into the physical logistics of this, but I agree that this is not possible.
Yes, I just have what?
So then they take turns fucking his mouth. And then it says, the handsome T-Rexes continue like this for quite a while, treating me like a horny human sex toy. Yep. Then finally, one of them grabs me by the ass and spins me around on the table.
Those were words on the page.
Oh, there were many more words on this page.
And then his Jurassic cock fills me to the brim, yet I can't help but push my body back against him.
Yes.
Now, we are under the assumption that Donnie is homosexual.
Indeed.
And therefore
has experience
receiving. However, there's no talk of lubrication.
Correct. There's no talk of condoms.
That's
I
true.
would expect in a gangbang I mean, lizards are like reptiles. I mean, I don't know.
Lizards are dirty.
Okay. I have one more question.
Okay.
Concern?
Yeah.
T-Rexes were feathered.
Yes.
This book was written in 2022 after we knew that T-Rexes were feathered, for the record.
However, we're going back to perhaps they lost the feathers.
Because he does call them cold and scaly.
Yes. So if you think about it, cavemen were a lot more, perhaps they started to lose the feathers when they started to wear clothing.
Sorry. Yes,
like
the dinosaurs.
The dinosaurs. Sorry, no.
You're not suggesting
cavemen did not have feathers. No, but cavemen used to be quite hairy. And there are certainly still men that are quite hairy. However, there are also a lot of individuals that are not. So perhaps that was another evolutionary change. Or perhaps they get plucked. Just like humans shave or get waxed, they get a dino.
A Jurassic?
That's what I was going to say too. So, I mean, again, trying to make this as realistic as possible. Perhaps they're getting waxed or plucked or...
Perhaps
this was evolutionary, that they don't have feathers anymore.
Or maybe Chuck Tingle just didn't know that they have feathers. And that would make me more disappointed than anything, I think.
So, another dino comes... So, he's being filled by one Jurassic cock, and then another dino comes around the front, Eiffel Tower style, and I said, I wonder if Sabrina Carpenter has read this book, and if she read it before her Paris show. Because that was big news in the past couple weeks.
It was.
And then all of a sudden we switch and one of the dinosaurs climbs onto the table and has him lay down on top of him, and then someone else comes around, and it's double penetration by two dinosaur cocks, and this man is being destroyed.
Yes.
There is no way around this. He has never worked for a dinosaur before. That does not mean that he's never had sex with a dinosaur before. That's true. I guess we could say that maybe this is something that he already knew he was into, but I can imagine that double penetration by two T-Rexes is...
Yep. So he is splayed out, and he lets out a scream of passion, bracing himself as they slam into him. My body trembles with every thrust, stretched to the brink, while I'm sandwiched between the two massive dinosaurs with my legs splayed wide. Fuck me harder, I find myself commanding. Fuck the hell out of my tight ass with those big T-Rex cocks.
I mean, stranger things have been said in the throes of passion, I'm sure.
Have they, though? So they attempt to deliver, and is that all you've got? I shriek. They're absolutely throttling me now, bearing down with all of their thunder lizard power.
Yep, I have that also.
Thunder lizard?
Yeah.
Thunder lizard?
I mean, I wonder if dinosaurs take offense to being called lizards, because...
I was wondering that also.
Is that...
I was wondering it as I started to say it. I don't even know. Are dinosaurs reptilian? They're just dinosaurs.
But also...
That's a different...
feathered would make them be more...
They are more closely related to birds, yes. But birds and reptiles and dinosaurs, they're all separate.
Yeah.
Biological.
They all lay eggs.
Motherfucker.
I just blew her mind.
My whole brain just went, blank for a second. I don't know how to describe what happened there. I am speechless.
He finally comes and collapses in exhaustion, and they start to like clean everything up, and he says, "What the hell do you think you're doing? I'm not done yet. I need more T-Rex lawyer cock." What? What is happening?
I mean, I guess those first day jitters are gone.
But also, like, he is the one, I don't want to say being used by all of them, because I don't think that that's really quite, but he's also making the calls. Again, I'm not well versed in a gangbang, so I don't really understand the logistics of it and what is okay and not okay.
True. It does feel, I was going to say, I'm not sure how to word this, but whatever the opposite of problematic is, that the person who is being so used is also the person who is like fully in charge of the situation.
Okay.
That seems like a good power dynamic, is if you're kind of in a situation where you are outnumbered and are in a vulnerable physical place, being the commander of the situation kind of balance that out a little bit. Kay's trying not to laugh at me.
I the word commander just immediately went to commander-in-chief, but I don't want to get put on a list, so...
No. Moving right along. So the dinosaurs are amused by his commands to continue giving him their T-Rex lawyer cocks. And one of them bellows, "Let's show this human what being tyrant lizards is all about." So now I'm wondering if lizard is their word.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. A word that only they can use.
I think we're taking the racism corollaries too far.
Perhaps. As we do, we take things a little too far with everything. So then they start to take turns with him. The double penetration is no more.
And now they're just running train.
They are all going to apparently finish inside of him. And
indeed.
I quote, "He erupts inside me, spilling his hot prehistoric jizz up into the farthest reaches of my ass." And I said, what the fuck am I reading? Still.
That's on page 13, by the way. In case you thought that there was build up to this,
in case you thought that after listening to us talk about this for an hour already, that this was further along. No, this was page 13. Also, apparently, they're releasing buckets of cum inside of him.
Indeed.
And then this continues down the line until all of the ancient creatures have emptied their payloads inside of me. I sure as hell hope he's getting a raise after this party.
Oh my God. Especially given that we still don't know how many dinosaurs there were.
How many dinosaurs were there?
It's a conga line of dinosaurs.
He must look very bloated after this.
I don't understand. Never mind.
No, I want to know.
Nope. I don't think it needs to be said out loud. I think we can move right along.
So everybody's done. Whatever, apparently everybody goes home. The next day, he shows up to work.
Rejuvenated and ready to take on the day.
Which...
my dude... how?
They must have put a donut on his seat for him to sit on. Not the kind of donuts from last week's episode, but the kind to sit on because he got destroyed the night before.
Indeed. There's no way you're sitting. Get him a standing desk.
All of his paperwork has been filed.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the gangbang was what they needed to realize he was a team player, and they all helped him out with filing his big pile of paperwork. And the mail boy comes down the aisle and has nothing for him to file.
He gives him a single letter with his name written across the front in red pen. It's marked with a strange wax seal displaying the name Tyson Rex. The first thing that falls out is a small card which reads, "Great party last night. Afterwards, we all decided to pitch in and take care of those files. Welcome to the team, partner, Tyson." So nothing else comes out of the envelope, by the way. It says the first thing that falls out is a small card, but then there's nothing else in it.
His dignity. Nope, they kept that.
Oh, and I was incorrect. This story is 14 pages long.
So, and that's where we end. There is a bonus story. I did read it.
Oh, you did?
I don't think we need to talk about it. We don't have the time to talk about it, to be completely honest.
I do want our listeners to understand the jump scare of, you're on page 14 of 45.
Yep.
And then you turn the page and it says, some say that love is the soul of books. And what better way to show a little love than with a free gift? Here to tingle you to the core is a bonus story for your reading pleasure. Bigfoot sommelier butt tasting.
So I did read it. Would you like a brief overview of what the story is?
I think I'd like to live in ignorance.
Okay. I actually think that story had more thought put into it than
really?
Yeah. But also the main character starts off straight and then Bigfoot turns him gay.
Oh, okay. You know what? No, I'm intrigued. How about this? If our listeners would like, we will return to discuss Bigfoot butt tasting sommelier.
Sommelier butt tasting.
Yes, that one.
So apparently Chuck Tingle really likes dinosaurs because there is a whole list of other stories that he's written in the back of this, and they're called Dinosaur Tinglers.
Incredible.
I believe they're all gay romance.
Yeah, Chuck Tingle is a gay erotic author.
So, My Billionaire Triceratops Craves Gay Ass is one of them.
Oh my God.
Professor T-Rex Teaches Me Gayness.
Ooh.
He's got a thing for dinosaurs, and I will tell you my rating, and then I have more to discuss when it comes to the fan cast.
I can't wait.
With my thoughts on his dinosaur situation here.
Okay.
So I actually think that I would rate this 2 stars. Purely because I think that he has built an entire world that we just are not privy to with this whole book. I mean, I think we've tried to establish more of this world, but if you look at his backlist, I think that there probably are more connections.
I could see that.
I also may be giving him the benefit of the doubt that he does not deserve. However,
I like it.
I mean, for 14 pages for us to be able to talk for over an hour is pretty impressive. I think for our first story that was not heterosexual characters, it definitely brought conversation, and
True.
I think that that's kind of our whole goal here.
Yeah.
We like to learn some things about things, and I'm going to give it 2 stars.
I am also going to give it 2 stars,
Wow.
but for very different reasons.
Okay.
I am not going to give benefit of the doubt about the world building because unlike her donut shifters, we saw none of it in this story. I did, however, enjoy how unserious the whole thing was. And I think as erotica, I think some of it really worked. If I found this on a fan fiction site, I think this would have fit more.
Yeah.
With a lot of the the lack of understanding of how a workplace functions. I think we would call this a crack fic because nothing makes sense and everyone just accepts that. But in terms of, this is a story that's sole purpose is to create an erotic experience. I think it successfully does that. It uses descriptive language. I could have done without some of the dialogue, but there was enough description to, for better or worse, make me feel what the main character was feeling, which was some of our criticism of previous erotic scenes. Chuck Tingle has no weakness there in ensuring that you can feel it.
Yeah, there definitely were some parts of it that you're like, you get the tingle, if you will.
Yeah. Yes.
Where with the donut shifters, we were talking about how it was almost mechanical and very like factual, and this was more I mean, maybe it comes from there being absolutely no fact in it, but also there definitely was more, you can imagine it more in a way that makes it
erotic.
Yeah. Yeah, not real, but erotic.
Yes. The smut was smutting in this one.
It was. It definitely was. I stand by. It is still an icky, sticky tangle of tentacles.
Yes.
There was really no plot.
No.
I mean, I would venture to read another one of his stories.
I agree. I think it was great fun for what it was and what it was trying to do. I think it accomplished that.
Absolutely.
You know what? Bump it up to 3 stars.
Oh, wow. You did text me earlier this week and say incredible. So I thought I was concerned about where our conversation was going to go this week because I was like, this was, what the fuck am I reading?
I cannot disagree with that. It absolutely was what the fuck am I reading.
But I think you're right with the fact that like it was so unserious that you're able to like
turn off your brain a little bit and just appreciate it for what it is. It does everything it sets out to do, and for that, I tip my hat to Chuck Tingle. So tell me, Kay, who are your fan casts? How is this gonna work?
So, my choice for Donnie was Matt Bomer.
Oh my God.
He would absolutely be in the elevator being like, I am a young, hot man in New York City. He is.
You are so right.
He is a very, very attractive man. So in this role, I think he would play it perfectly. He's tall. Would absolutely walk in and people would be like, yeah, that's a lawyer. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes.
Now,
I could also see him being a sexy secretary for a small town law firm.
Absolutely. Now, you are a few years younger than me, so I really hope that this lands as much as I want it to. But Tyson Rex, Robbie Sinclair from the TV show Dinosaurs.
Oh my fucking God. You just like unlocked like a core memory somewhere.
Okay, good. So, Robbie Sinclair from the 1991 TV show on Nickelodeon, The Dinosaurs. Robbie was the teenage son in that show. And this is where I'm thinking that Chuck Tingle is probably somewhere a little older than me, so probably close to early 40s, and 90% of his stories about dinosaurs, I am willing to bet, stem from the Dinosaurs fan fiction.
I'm speechless.
Now,
I don't know what to do with these emotions.
Not the mama. And I remember watching this when I was younger, and as far as dinosaurs go, he's a hot dino. You're so right. Now, the male boy, also from Dinosaurs, is Sid Turtlepuss. Because I don't think that the male boy would be a T-Rex, because they seem to make them all be partners. And then I have one more. And, yeah, Earl Sinclair, who was the dad in Dinosaurs, is one of the guys that got kicked out of the gangbang because he just wasn't super into him. So I had a lot of fun doing this, and I did find myself on the Dinosaurs like fan wiki page. I had a glass of wine and I was really just giggling to myself as I created this because it could not be real people. It needed to be dinosaur characters, and this just really was perfection for me. So
Kay did text me last night and said, I've had some wine, which is making this fan cast even better. And I was so excited. I had no idea what to expect. And my God, did you deliver?
Oh, man.
Oh, my
Robbie
God.
Sinclair from the Dinosaurs. Tyson Rex.
I can't unsee that.
But I really think that Chuck Tingle must have some kind of the Dinosaurs fanfic roots.
Yeah, I could totally see it.
There was supposed to be a remake at some point, and I think they kind of stopped that. I wonder.
I think that's okay. I think some things should stay in the 90s.
Maybe. Yeah, they never really do it justice when they bring it back.
No. It's always a little bit soulless when they remake it.
So, next week
is a classic. Next week is like, this was the first recommendation for like erotica that I ever received.
Really? I had
Yes.
never heard of this, and it is a whole series.
There are a lot of them,
Yes. Okay.
We are reading Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, which I'm so excited because I've never read it, and it has come across my recommendations several times. It was like one of those early days. Oh, like you like romance? Like you like erotica? Like have you considered? Like if you like erotica, like it's a lot, but it's worth it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. But it's been on my list to read for literal years.
Well, I am very excited. So, is there anything else that you have been reading in the past week? I mean, the dinosaurs, it was a quick read, so there was some extra time in there this week.
That's true. Did I use that extra time? Absolutely not.
That's okay.
Yeah. How about you?
I started a new book. I don't believe it's smutty in the least. I may be wrong, but it is called Scalebound, which I feel like I'll let you know if I like it because it is dragons and fantasy. I am only 17 pages in, but it so far is good. It's like the heir to the throne. People don't know that she's still alive, and her father is having some like dragon fight to the death for the next heir to be appointed.
Oh, I love a good secret royalty.
Yep. So I just started that. So I will let you know. It's called Scalebound by Logan Piercy.
Okay. I look forward to hearing the review.
And if you have made it this far, we truly, truly appreciate you taking the time to listen to our insane conversations. Please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, write a review. It really helps us out. If you are feeling like we wasted the $3 buying those and you'd like to reimburse us, you can check out our Buy Me a Coffee page. Again, we have no problem with spending those $3 because it did give us quite the conversation.
Indeed.
And a good laugh. So with that,
we're at our wits' end.
See you next time.